This is Kenneth Crockett with SDI FTE-217 Modern Sporting Rifle, Week 5. Today I'm going to be performing function checks and talking about different various malfunctions and malfunction checks. First things first, there's no magazine in here, so we're verifying that it's clear right now, and as you can see, there's nothing in the chamber, so our weapon is clear. Alright, first thing we do, we charge it. Weapon's already unsafe. We want to try to pull the trigger. Nothing happens. Then we're going to put it on fire, from safe to fire. We pull the trigger, we hear a click, and we hold it. We charge it again, and then we let it go, and then you hear that click. That lets you know that the function check is working. Now, I do have a dummy round and a magazine here. Then I'm going to be performing another check, make sure that it cycles, and make sure that the magazine catch and everything works. So, what I'm going to be doing right now is I'm going to insert the magazine, pull it, make sure it's seated in there real good. I'm going to shake it a couple times, make sure it doesn't fall out, and then I'm going to pull it. Alright, now it's cycled. There's one in the chamber. Now, when I pull the charger handle again, the bolt should lock to the rear, and it should expel that dummy round. So let's see what happens. Dummy round came out, bolt is locked to the rear. No issues whatsoever. Now I'm going to do a magazine drop test. I'm going to put the weapon on safe, and I'm going to press the mag release button, and then the mag should freely fall out. No issues. Bam. Magazine catch, magazine release, everything is working. The bolt is still locked to the rear. I could push the bolt forward. Weapon is already unsafe. And that is the function check. Now, if I was to do a live fire test, I would go through the same procedure. I would put a live round in here. I'll start with one, and then I would insert the magazine. I would charge it. Of course, this is gonna lock it, but if there was a round in here, I would charge it. It would insert a round into the chamber. I would put it on fire, and then I would slowly pull the trigger. Once I pull the trigger from the first live fire round, what's supposed to happen is after that round, that casing has been extracted and ejected, what's supposed to happen, the bolt should lock to the rear because there's only one live. And anytime your mag is empty, your bolt should always lock to the rear on AR-15 platforms. So once I do that, I make sure it's clear. I put it back on safe, drop the magazine, and then this time I will insert a live round, and then I would insert our dummy round, and then I would go through the process again. I would charge it, I'll insert that live round, and then I would fire, and then I would hold it to the rear and then slowly release just to hear that metallic click to make sure that the disconnector is reconnected and is working. And then I will manually charge it, and then that dummy round will come out, and it will be the same thing. Bolt should lock to the rear. It should lock to the rear every time. Put the weapon back on safe, drop it. Now this time I will insert 3 to 5 live rounds. I will insert the magazine. Now with a loaded magazine, I would release the bolt, and that would put one into the chamber. And I'll do the same process 3 to 5 times. 1, 2, 3 rounds, 4 rounds, and then on that 5th, and they all should extract and eject the casing, and at the same time reinserting another live round into the chamber. And once I get to my last one, same process should happen. I would fire, that last casing is extracted, then ejected, bolt should lock to the rear. If all of these functions correctly, then the live test fire would be complete. And have it on safe. Insert the magazine. Make sure the weapon is clear, And that concludes the functions check. One thing I did forget to do that I'm gonna do real quick is I'm gonna check to see if the forward assist works. And how that happens, I would release my lower takedown pin, and I would just gently tap on the bolt, and then I would use the forward assist. You can see the bolt right here. I would tap the forward assist to see if it was being inserted. And that's how you check your forward assist. I'm not gonna do a simulated drop test because I don't want to do that to my weapon. Thank you. Now I have my lower receiver. I'm gonna test the feel of my trigger by pulling the trigger. My trigger, it doesn't, I like the way it feels. It feels real good. It doesn't feel sluggish, doesn't feel hard to pull, doesn't feel gritty. It feels real smooth. If I had a trigger pull test, I would tell you the pounds of my trigger, but just by pulling it and like letting it go, it doesn't feel gritty, it doesn't feel heavy. It feels real smooth, easy to pull. It's not a hair trigger. It's not like a competition trigger. It's a regular trigger from the manufacturer, but it doesn't. It's not heavy. Like, as you can see, like this the trigger. There's the wall. There's the click, and then here's the reset. And as you can see, I'm like barely like even pulling. It just feels smooth. So that feels like a great trigger to me for coming from the manufacturer. I mean, it's not the best like competition trigger where your reset and the pull is like that, but it's not far from it. It's just real smooth. Very smooth. All right, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna measure the barrel length. Now, I'm not gonna take my muzzle device off, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna measure from the threads to the muzzle device, just to get a better accurate description. You know, it's better to be safe. So you can see inside where the threaded end of the barrel stops. You can actually, with the cleaner rod, you can actually hit it, and that'll tell you exactly where it stops at. Oh, look at that. And ironically, it stops right there on that line where you have the attachment. Right there where that line meets, that's the attachment. That's where the rest of the muzzle stops at. So we can use that to measure the extra length of the muzzle. And that is 1.25 inches. Yep, 1 inch, 1.4 inches. Well, 1.25. Yep, 1.25. So now, I've already removed my bolt and my charging handle. And I'm gonna actually turn it this way so I can see where it ends. And I'm gonna insert the cleaning rod. Inserting, bam, and there it is, right there. I should have a bench block, but I don't, so I'm gonna mark it. It's been marked. I have measuring tape here. Now, right where that mark is, I lost it. So we'll do it again. I lost it. So we'll do it again. Boom, right there. And if I did it the exact same way. I should be able to find it. Nope, I didn't. So we're gonna mark it right there. And then we're gonna mark it. Okay, it's a good mark. And that is 17.5 inches. So 17.5 minus 1.25 is actually 16.25, which is actually a common number for legal AR-15 barrels in most states. The legal limit is 16, but most manufacturers do 16.25 just to be safe. Now for the twist rate. I actually did the twist rate off camera because it was a little more complicated, something I'm not used to doing. But it came in at 1 in 7. So for every complete whole revolution, there's a twist. So every circle there's a twist, and then we got to the end of the barrel, did that 7 times, so it's a 1 in 7 twist rate.